"I'm pregnant, and it's James's baby," my sister Amanda announced, her voice slicing through the air like a blade. The room fell into stunned silence. Laughter stopped. Glasses paused mid-air. I stood frozen, champagne still in hand, unable to move. Amanda stood beneath the soft glow of fairy lights, cradling her stomach in her blue dress as if that made it more real, more acceptable. Next to me, James went pale, his grip around my waist loosened until it disappeared altogether. "I'm Olivia Parker, I'm 28, and at that moment, I watched everything I thought was stable unravel in front of an audience." Amanda's voice wavered as she continued through her tears. "It's been going on for months. We didn't mean to hurt you, but we're in love." Every eye turned to me, waiting for a reaction, a scream, a breakdown, something, but I stayed still, silent. I'd learned a long time ago, silence can speak louder than fury. "Olivia, sweetheart," my mom said, stepping toward me, "let's talk about this. Amanda's going through a hard time." Of course she was. Amanda was always the one we needed to protect when she crashed my car, drained my credit card, destroyed my graduation dress, and every time, I was expected to forgive her, to understand. "She's your sister," my dad added, his eyes full of concern, not for me, but for Amanda, now sobbing into my fiancé's arms. I set my glass down with care, the sound sharp in the silence. "Excuse me," I said, turning away. "Olivia, wait." My mom chased after me into the kitchen. "You can't just walk away. Amanda is pregnant. This changes everything." I met her eyes, calm and unshaken. "You're right, it does." She sighed, as if the crisis was passing. "So you understand, we have to support her. She's fragile." I almost laughed. Even now, it was about Amanda. "I understand perfectly," I said, grabbing my car keys. "Where are you going?" she asked, a rising panic in her voice. "We need to talk." "She has you," I replied simply. "She always has." Outside, James called after me, but I didn't turn around. I didn't cry. I wouldn't give any of them that satisfaction. I drove to the only place that ever gave me peace, Grandma's cottage by the lake. What they didn't know was that I'd seen this coming. The late-night texts, the secretive smiles, Amanda's mysterious illnesses, it all added up. But I hadn't just seen it, I had planned for it. 2 weeks ago, I hired a private investigator. A week ago, I moved all my important documents and valuables into a safety deposit box. 3 days ago, I started quietly removing James from every joint account we had. And just yesterday, I convinced him to take a DNA test under the guise of a routine insurance requirement. Now, sitting on my grandmother's porch, I ignored the relentless buzz of texts and missed calls from James, Amanda, and my parents. Let them wonder. Instead, I called the one person who never fell for Amanda's theatrics, my Aunt Sarah. I saw Amanda's little performance on Facebook Live. She said the moment she answered, she always did crave an audience. "She says she's pregnant," I told her flatly. "She says," Sarah replied, unimpressed, "but you didn't call me just to vent, did you?" "No," I said, my spine straightening. "I need your help." "Does it involve Amanda and James deeply regretting their life choices?" "Something like that." "I'm in," she said without hesitation. "Tell me what you're thinking." For the first time in days, I smiled, not from happiness, but from clarity. "First, we wait for the DNA results. Then, we remind them what real family loyalty looks like." That night, as I lay in the quiet of my grandmother's cottage, my phone finally went still. No more buzzing, no more pleading texts. They probably imagined me curled up somewhere, broken and waiting to forgive. They didn't know me at all. They remembered the dutiful daughter, the quiet sister, the woman who always kept the peace. But they forgot one important thing. I was also my grandmother's granddaughter. And my grandmother never forgot betrayal or forgave it easily. I opened her old leather-bound journal, the one she kept hidden in the back of her closet. It was filled with wisdom she never spoke aloud. One entry read, "Sometimes, Darling, the smartest move is to let people believe they've won until they realize they've lost everything that mattered. I closed the journal, the edges worn soft from time. Amanda chose her moment to shatter my world. But I would choose the moment to take it back. The DNA results would arrive in 8 weeks. Until then, I had a plan to build and a truth to deliver. On my terms. The investigator found your medical records. You had fertility treatments 3 months ago with your ex, Michael, the one you've been secretly seeing. Gasps rippled through the room, whispers followed. My mother wavered on her feet, clutching the back of a chair for balance. The timing is perfect, I said. You got pregnant right after James and I announced our engagement, and since Michael left you, I let the silence speak for itself. James turned to Amanda, stunned. You planned this, all of it. Tears welled in Amanda's eyes, her signature move. I was desperate, she whispered. Michael left, and you and Olivia looked so happy. I thought. You thought you could steal my fiancé, lie about the baby's father, and count on our parents to cover for you, I snapped. And you were right, they did. I turned to my parents, who stood like statues. You didn't even ask questions, did you? You just believed her, like always. We didn't know, my mother whispered. No, I said sharply, you didn't want to know, you never do with her. The room fell into heavy silence. Even Amanda stopped crying, finally understanding there was no escape this time. James looked at me, his voice hoarse. You knew all along? I suspected, I replied. Amanda's never been as clever as she thinks. And you've never been good at keeping secrets. Aunt Sarah stepped forward, heels echoing across the polished floor. I think this party is over, she declared. James stormed out. Amanda wept. My parents stood in stunned silence. No one looked at me. As Aunt Sarah and I walked to the car, she glanced at me. Your grandmother would be proud. I thought of the journal she'd left me, filled with lessons on patience and justice. Yes, I said, she would. But it wasn't over. The DNA tests and medical records were only the beginning. There were more secrets waiting, more truths to uncover. Amanda had always been the star of the family, but now, I held the script. The fallout from the country club bombshell came faster than I expected. Within days, Amanda's picture-perfect world collapsed. James moved out of our old apartment, leaving her alone with the consequences. Michael, the real father, wanted nothing to do with her or the baby. And my parents, they were finally forced to face the mess they helped create. A few days later, I ran into my mother at the grocery store. She's not eating, she said quietly. She needs her sister. I kept sorting apples. No, what she needs is to face the truth, something you've never made her do. We made mistakes, she admitted. Her voice trembled, but she's still your sister. I looked up at her then, meeting her eyes. And I was still your daughter every single time you chose her over me. That wasn't the only secret left to uncover. One evening, over dinner, Aunt Sarah leaned in. Your father's been paying Amanda's credit card bills for years, she said, even for the hotel stays with Michael while you were engaged to James. It stung. I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was. So they knew. They suspected, Aunt Sarah corrected, but questioning Amanda, that's never been their style. I remembered all the nights I stayed late at work to pay my way through college, while Amanda's expenses were magically covered. It wasn't just enabling, it was full-on support. 3 weeks after the engagement party, someone knocked on my grandmother's porch. James. He looked tired, ashamed. I'm not here to apologize, he said quickly. I am sorry, but I know it doesn't fix anything. Then why are you here? He ran a hand through his hair, that nervous habit I used to love. I'm leaving town, taking that job in Seattle. I needed you to know you were right, about everything. I leaned against the doorframe. Not everything. I thought you loved me. He flinched. And that was answer enough. After James left, I stayed on the porch swing, grandmother's old seat, where she used to tell me stories under the stars. Her journal lay open in my lap. One passage caught my eye. The greatest victory isn't in destroying those who hurt you, but in rebuilding yourself stronger than before. I was still thinking about those words when the final twist arrived, the one that changed everything. One morning, Aunt Sarah appeared, holding a folder thick with documents. "I found these in Mother's safety deposit box," she said, laying the papers out on the table. "Turns out, Grandmother left you more than just the cottage." The documents revealed a trust fund in my name, set aside for my wedding and future home. Grandmother had also kept detailed records of every dollar my parents took from her over the years to fund Amanda's life, her tuition, vacations, credit cards, even her fertility treatments. Aunt Sarah handed me an envelope. "There's a letter for you." In Grandmother's graceful handwriting, it read, "My dearest Olivia, if you're reading this, then they've pushed you too far. Use these documents wisely. Sometimes, the best revenge is letting people face the consequences of their own choices." So, I followed her advice. My lawyer mailed copies of the financial records to my parents with a short note. The truth has a way of revealing itself. 2 days later, Amanda moved back home, her perfect future shattered. My parents could no longer pretend they didn't know. The truth was in writing now. Later, my father called. His voice was quiet, resigned. "What do you want from us?" "Nothing," I said. "I don't want anything from you anymore." And that was the real victory, not in hurting them back, but in letting go. 6 months later, I sold my share of the family property. Amanda tried to stop it, but the documents were ironclad. I used the money to buy a small bookstore near the cottage, something I'd always dreamed of but had pushed aside to live up to my parents' expectations. Aunt Sarah helped me renovate the place, turning it into something beautiful. On opening day, she handed me a gift. Grandmother's journal rebound in soft leather. Inside was a new inscription. "For Olivia, who learned that the quietest voice often speaks the loudest truth." I keep the DNA results tucked away in my desk drawer, not as a reminder of betrayal, but as a symbol of everything I overcame. Amanda still lives with our parents. Her baby is due any day now. I hear things in passing, but their drama no longer belongs to me. Last week, I got a wedding invitation from James. He's getting married in California. I returned it unopened. Some chapters are better left closed. Now, I sit on the porch at sunset, the lake glowing gold in the fading light, and I finally understand what Grandmother meant. Victory doesn't come from winning the battle. It comes from walking away, free and whole, and never looking back. Amanda's betrayal didn't destroy me. It released me. And that, I've learned, is the best kind of revenge.